Hello all, I'm Sai and in today's video, I'm bringing to you 10 graphic novel book recommendations. There's a specific reason why I'm doing this video at this point of time inside the year. There's just around one more month left for the year to end, and I know that many people might be trying to catch up with their Goodreads goals. These graphic novels will not just help you reach those goals, but they'll also be really high in quality, and each and every one of them are so much fun to read. I have a mix-up of genres and I just own one of these as a physical copy with me, and the rest of them I read either from the Kindle Unlimited subscription or from the Webtoon app. I'm just saying this in the beginning itself so that you can go forward and get the subscription for 1 month, and I'm pretty sure that you can read more than just these 8 to 10 graphic novels from Kindle Unlimited during that time. I'm specifically saying this in the beginning itself because I find Kindle Unlimited super helpful and beneficial, especially when it comes to reading graphic novels, because they are super expensive to buy as physical copies, at least here. So just putting it out there, and this is not sponsored in any way. So without any further ado, let's get into the books right away. I'll first recommend the copy which I own, and this is also one graphic novel which I just read a few months back. And it is Jukebox by Nidhi Chanani, in which we follow our main character Shaheen and her cousin Tanaz, who end up exploring different kinds of music during different time periods across the world. And the main reason why they are doing this is because they want to find Shaheen's father, who went missing while he is exploring this very peculiar kind of jukebox, which actually transports the person who's listening to the record being played in that jukebox to the time period when it was actually released. It has a ton of emotions, and if you're someone who's interested in Western music, I think you can enjoy this more than I did. Personally, I'm not a huge fan of Western music, nor do I have any knowledge of it. Despite that, I did enjoy this a lot, and I also learned a bit of things about Western music from the 80s and 90s, especially inside pop culture from this one. The illustrations in this one were also super cute and very cozy, so it'll be perfect to read during the winter time, so just go forward and give it a try. Next, we have a cozy ghost graphic novel, and this is The Ghost of Wrecker's Cove by Angelica Del Campo. I think this was available in Prime Reading itself because I remember reading it from Prime Reading only. It is quite long for a graphic novel if I'm not wrong, and this just gives all the perfect cozy creepy vibes if you're someone who's into that. For example, if you like the Canterville Ghost, I'm sure you will like this one because it is not humorous in that way, but it has that undertone of a gothic vibe going on from the first page to the last. And the story of the ghost in this book is also quite emotional, and the ghost that we see here is not that of a normal person too. Here we basically follow our two main characters who are sisters. They go with their father to this lighthouse in a coastal area, and in that coastal area, the younger sister gets to meet this ghost whom she actually thinks is a person, and after that the elder sister also gets to see this ghost, and except the two of them, others cannot see her. Yeah, the ghost is a woman, and I did not know who wreckers were before reading this graphic novel, and it helped me know about them too. Wreckers are basically people who go forward and plunder all the wealth from the ships which get wrecked across the shores after some kind of accident. It is quite sad at a few instances, but it will definitely make you feel super cozy. The next one is a relatively newer graphic novel, and it is Turtle Red by Kim Joy. I think it was just released in May 2023, and I read it then itself because it was available in Prime Reading. I'm saying this in specific because anything that is available in Prime Reading will be there in Kindle Unlimited also. Now in this book, we basically follow our main character who's in depression, and she's also having all kinds of anxious and nervous thoughts throughout the day in her head. She's also not that stable in her job, which makes her broke for most of the time, and she's also in therapy. The therapy is helping her, but at times she also feels very helpless and does not know how to cope with all the things that are going on in her life. Because of this, her relationships, her personal life, everything gets affected. And during this particular time only, she gets to know about this baking class that is being taken by this very old woman, and she just goes forward and joins the baking class. And there is this very beautiful found family that she just creates there for herself, and everyone just accepts her for the person that she is. She's socially anxious, super introverted, and also kind of a wallflower. But once she gets into baking, she just finds herself a lot more. Personally, I think of all the graphic novels that I'm recommending today, this is the best because it will give you all the heartwarming things that you will expect from a book like this one. I don't know why I have not recommended this before this video, but if you're getting the subscription, this is definitely one thing you need to try. The next one is kind of a popular graphic novel series, and it is Lumberjanes by N.T. Stevenson et al. I think there are like 7 or 8 volumes of this graphic novel series that have been out so far. I've just read the first 3 volumes, and each and every one of the 3 volumes are super adventurous in their tone. This is kind of a mix-up between adventure and fantasy because it has both elements that are intertwining throughout, and all the main characters here are girls, and there are some very specific things that are for female friendship that are beautifully expressed here without straying away from the story at all. Basically, if you're a person who enjoys reading stories with friend gangs in them, you should definitely try this one. It is YA, so it can be read by youngsters as well as adults, and the artwork in this one is just super vibrant, and the places which are depicted through the illustrations in this one are very gorgeous. If you're a nature lover, I'm sure you will like this one because most of the things in the series happen in different parts inside a jungle and some tree houses and stuff like that. So that itself gives a nice cozy atmosphere, and on top of that, the storyline is also really good. I've not finished the series, but so far I have liked all the 3 volumes that I read. That's why I'm recommending it now. The next one is actually a memoir, and it is Genderqueer by Maya Pobab, in which the author talks about her own life history of coming out and understanding themselves properly. It is quite a heavy graphic novel, but I think many more people need to try this. I'm not sure whether it is YA or adult, but I personally think even younger adults can read this one because it can make people understand other people a bit more. Because until I read this one, I was not even aware of some of the facts that were actually displayed by the author from their own life in this one. It was definitely a tough graphic novel for me to get through because it was difficult to see a person going through certain stuff which are very normal for most of us people here in the world. And I also liked how the author's parents were supportive from the childhood until the point where they came out and all the other things that are going on in their life too. It is definitely a really healthy relationship that is shown between the parents and the children here, and also between siblings. More than anything, I can say that this is wholesome because it is not just cozy, it also dives into the dark aspects of a queer person's life and what all they have to deal with. So if there's only one graphic novel you want to read of all these 10, please let it be this one. The next one is actually a graphic novel trilogy, and I cannot stop smiling even before saying the name of the series because it is very heartwarming in its tone, and every time I think about the series, I'm easily transported into the world of it. And it's the Tea Dragon series by Kay O'Neill. The 3 books inside the series are the Tea Dragon Society, the Tea Dragon Tapestry, and the Tea Dragon Festival. The 3 books inside the series get longer as the series progresses on, and the amount of inclusion inside the series is just out of the world. If you can just go forward and search for some images of the series online and just look up for some panels, I'm sure you'll be having that urge to just pick this book up and read because the artwork in this one is just super cozy in its tone. Okay, I think of all the books, this is the coziest. Turtle Blood is the most heartwarming, but this is the coziest of all. It'll make you feel like you are just wrapped up in this warm, soft blanket because it'll make you feel that comfortable. It's basically about bringing up these small puppy dog-like creatures called tea dragons, out of whose bodies there are these small tea leaves which grow out. And these creatures are also super fragile, okay? They need to be taken care of properly, and they're also super emotionally dependent upon the person who is taking care of them. They're basically just puppy dogs, okay? You need to try this because if you're a dog person, you will fall in love with the series. I'm not able to even properly articulate my thoughts about the series because I am just having all those urges to just go forward and hug this book. It's sad that I don't have a physical copy of this series, but it's definitely something which I'll keep on recommending. Continuing with the pattern of recommending series, another trilogy which I want to recommend to you is White Sand by Brandon Sanderson. I did not know that there was a graphic novel series by Brandon Sanderson out there until I read it last year. I did a challenge of reading 30 books in 30 days last year, that is in 2022. And these 3 are some of the books which I read during that challenge. And trust me, it was super engrossing, okay? When I say Brandon Sanderson itself, it's like a given that the books will be good and the quality of the books will be super high in terms of plot and character development, and more than anything, the magic system. It is heavily political, just like any other Sanderson book. I've not read that many Sanderson books, but from what I've read, I know that the amount of politics inside his books will be super high, and it is just the same in this one also. The magic in the series is based on extracting magic from sand that is abundantly available throughout, but not everyone can access the magic out of the sand. That is the catch there. And this art or talent of extracting magic out of sand and wielding it properly is attributed to this particular clan, and they are actually getting extinct little by little because of their inability to actually use the magic. There are a ton of characters here, and each and every volume of the series will take at least 2 hours for you to read because there is so much text. And if you're someone who likes political intrigue in your books, this will definitely be a treat for you. Since I recommended a Brandon Sanderson series, I want to recommend a book which has a title that is similar to that of a Brandon Sanderson book. And this is also the first one in the graphic novel series. I read only the first one in this one because the first volume was only available in the subscriptions, and it is Skyward by Joe Henderson. I think the cover of the graphic novel might give you an idea of what it is about. It's actually a futuristic sci-fi graphic novel in which Earth has actually lost its gravity, okay? There's not a particular reason that is given to us in the beginning of the graphic novel, but we just see that there's no gravity in the world and everyone is just floating here and there all about, and they always try to grip onto something, otherwise because of the lack of gravity they'll just get pulled into space. It has a ton of things going on, and especially the absence of gravity is actually properly utilized by the author and the illustrator here, because all the complications that can occur just in the everyday life itself are shown at multiple instances for us here. Keeping that aside, we also have this wonderful familial story of our main character and her parents who kind of got separated as well as affected because of this lack of gravity. It is difficult for me to explain what the series is about without spoiling it for you, but this is the basic idea of it, so just go forward and give it a try. Next, we have a psychological thriller / horror. You can categorize it anyhow, but it is definitely something which is sick, okay? And it is Melvina's Therapy by A. Raisin. You can read this for free in the Webtoon app. I read it on Webtoon only, and I think it's quite long, over 1,000 pages or so, but trust me, it will give you all those perfect creepy vibes. While reading it itself, sometimes you will get disgusted because very horrible things happen in this graphic novel, and I know that I might look like a maniac saying that it is super horrible by smiling, but it is that good. Okay, the illustrations will just make you want to keep the screen aside and just rest for a little, because sometimes it gets super graphic in terms of the gore, and there's also a ton of body horror that is involved. The basic plot of the series is that we have this therapist named Melvina, and each and every person who goes and gets therapized by her gets to face all their fears in the actual world, and instead of making it better, Melvina just makes it far worse for them, and in most cases the patients even end up dying. But there's a huge reason behind this, because Melvina herself has a super tragic past life. The fact that she had such a bad life does not make everything that she is doing now right in any way, but there are also so many other things which we need to focus on. I said it is quite long, right? So you'll have a lot of time to explore all these things that I've talked about, but the best part about this is definitely how creeped out it will make you feel while reading it and seeing all those gory illustrations. If you're someone who gets irked out or frightened of such things, please don't read it. Otherwise, I'm sure you will enjoy this, because I tend to enjoy that kind of stuff occasionally, and it was definitely something for me during that time. One small suggestion, please don't read it during the night time, because it will definitely disturb your sleep, because it is that heavy. Otherwise, I think it's fine. I've recommended 9 so far, of which 2 to 3 are series. And at last, I'm going to recommend 2 graphic novels which are actually standalones, and they are basically written by this author named Ketena Chapman, and I read both of them on Storytel. That's why I'm recommending them at last, because I don't know if they are available in other subscriptions or not. It's basically about the author and her husband and some of the funny things that happen in their lives as a couple together. It is very cute and romantic and funny at instances, and it does not get so mushy that you want to cringe. It just maintains that proper level of cuteness and subtlety while making it romantic also. I think if you're someone who's in a relationship, you'll be able to relate to a lot of things that are going on here, or even if you're someone who's super single like me, you'll still enjoy it. It is definitely a stress buster, so definitely give it a try. So yes guys, those are the 10 graphic novels which I wanted to recommend to you today. Don't forget to go forward and check them out in the Kindle Unlimited subscription. I'm repeating it again, this is not sponsored in any way. I just wanted to tell you guys that it is available in that subscription, because I read all of them just with 1 or 2 months of subscription along with multiple other books. So it is definitely super beneficial in terms of the cost efficiency. And I hope this video was useful for you. And if you did get some good recommendations from me, let me know down in the comments what you're going to go forward and check out. And if you did enjoy watching today's video, don't forget to give it a thumbs up and also share it to your friends. And if you want to get more content from me, do subscribe to the channel. Thanks for watching and have a great rest of your day.